Hey people, how y'all doing? Um, the Bean is here again, and this is part two. Um, Getting you to understand about yourself, and also walking you through about being a thinker, right? First, foremost, then actually going by dialogue that you was taught throughout your whole life. Okay. The crazy thing is that we all need to understand something, right? That we all are important, and I believe that we are also um, we all think highly about ourselves. But the thing is that how we instructing ourselves to do, it's coming from someplace, and throughout the course of time, we're not actually given the opportunity to really understand where that's coming from, because it's never on our mind to think about that. If you really think about it, right? We don't just, well, we should, but we don't just sit there and think about, what I'm saying, in our lifetime, like, why am I doing the things that I'm doing, or how did I get like this? You know what I'm saying? So, and when I say that, I don't mean about uh, actual things that you're doing. It's just the method of life that was taught to you. You know what I mean? It's just the method of life of how things were taught for you to do and function. That's what I'm talking about. How you going about your plan on or goals, or how you achieving in the way you're doing, as it's been taught to you. So I want you to understand, we all have, or none of us have the time to really think about this, because we're doing so much in our lifetime. You know what I mean? We're doing so much. It's like I don't think there's a moment that we're not doing anything. There's certain people that's doing more than others. What they call it? You have people that have that overachieving method. You know what I'm saying? And there's others that's just conquering on doing something that puts them in a place where things are taking its course according to how they're getting hungry about life. But, once again, I'm going to go back to the place where I was at with you. And that's us having the opportunity to think out our thoughts and go by our thoughts first before anything else. As crazy it may sound, you have to understand, through the birthing of us, right? And we being in a place where we're surrounded by the word family, as they say. That was the first place that put us where we're being taught about how we need to, listen when we've been given rules on how we're supposed to function. Parenting is a serious thing, and when you're nurturing and bringing a new life into existence, most parents know that they are the ones who are in control over that new birth. So by saying that, we all was in that place. Okay, so that language was given to us, and we supposedly think that was part of the methods of life, but technically it's not. But they formulated it for us to understand it is. As crazy it may sound. I mean, I'm not trying to start anything, but this is what was presented to us that we all do in our lifetime. And the sad part about it is it never gives the being an opportunity to really discover what that being really is. And I'm just say person, a human being. Okay? So what I'm gonna say to you is that there's certain languages that we were taught in life that we were supposed to go by, or said or was said to us that we needed to do in order to us to coexist. So when you go and you see how you were when you were younger, the parenting taught you rules and taught you obedience, instructed you on how possibly could perform. This is how you have athletes and, stars and, all of this stuff come from one place, and the parenting got that from one place too. So by saying that, you came into a situation where not at no time you had the opportunity to think for oneself. And as crazy it may sound, but, you have to understand that the mind is very hungry. So, and, when we were adolescents, babies, kids, the mind always stay growing when it comes to learning about life. So when you start to think about that, just understand this. Something was always presented in front of you or was said to you. So it took away from the fact that you could develop your own thoughts on how you need to function. That means your own thoughts is talking to you on how you need to construct the things you need to do. You never got that opportunity to do that because you've been spoon-fed and you've been placed in a position where you have to listen to what is being said to you from the parenting that you've been brought up on. So there's something wrong with it, you know what I'm saying? But this is the method of life that they taught everyone who are following these rules. So when you see that, not at no time you had the opportunity to even think of the fact that you have your own thoughts that you can go by. Your own thoughts that instruct you to function was never established. Because in that early stages in life, none of the parenting even taught you that. None of the parenting even said anything to you about that. The reason why I'm laughing is because the craziest thing is when you go back in time and you start to think about those things, you're going to realize there was a lot of things that were said to you that didn't show or gave you the opportunity to start to learn to function for yourself. You know what I'm saying? We all had dialogue and we all had a road where, the parenting want us to be all we can be the way they were teaching us. So by that being said, as an adolescent growing into a kid, as you get older, you go from one training period to the next. And that second process of your training period is usually coming from an institution. Yep, I said it, an institution. I don't think you understand what that word means, but I'll change the word. I'll change the wording of that, and I'll tell you, you went to school. Okay? The school had a process of the upbringing of how you're supposed to learn. And you went from Head Start, grammar school, elementary, junior high school, and from the high school, when you graduate, if you choose to advance yourself, then you're going to a higher learning process. And those are many, that higher learning process has many stages that you go through that causes you to be, we're going to get into that later. But by saying that, right, when the first training process is developed and now you go to the second stage, right, when you're going to these schools, right, you're actually being taught how to stay in one place, which for a youth and a kid that's growing up, they don't understand that. So they're teaching you how to stay put in one place so they can capture your mind, your thoughts in your mind, to be focused on the person in the front of the room or the older or the adult that's in the room, for you to listen to whatever's being said. Yes, which means you in the second stage of being taught to live. Okay? So when you see that, like I said, you're gonna sit back and listen to what I'm saying, and part of you is gonna say like, I don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean by that? You have to, what do you mean by that? And what I'm trying to get you to understand, at no time, right? Hear me out. At no time, if you can, right? Think about how you grew up and take it upon yourself to say, did I ever have a time in my life when I was growing up that I actually thought for myself? And when I say think for yourself or think for oneself, there was no dialogue. There was nothing that was taught to you in the growing process that you visualized or was told. No, when you're thinking, no one is telling you nothing, and there's nothing for you to see to read. It's coming from your mind. See, you people don't want to believe it, but you have a protection in your whole life of growing, and your protection comes from oneself. It doesn't come from a police officer or a doctor or a teacher. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there. A parent. No, it comes from the form of you thinking for oneself. Your thoughts. Your thoughts is your real protection on how you construct yourself to do what you have to do. Yes, your thoughts. This is why, when you start to think about the things you did in school, right? Understand this, right? Why do you think you had to go through the schooling process, right? Why do you think that your parent told you, no, I have to take you to school. It's the right thing to do. Because when you go to school, they're capturing your thoughts. They're focusing on your know-how and your thinking, and they're taking it to a place where it's opposite of what its normal function is supposed to be. The function of your mind, right, and your thoughts and your brain activity is only supposed to be for self. But when you go through the schooling process, no, they're separating you from that. They're putting you in a place where, no, what you're being taught is supposed to be more important. What they're showing you is supposed to be the lesson plan for you for life. Yes. So by saying that, ask yourself this. Doesn't that sound like you separating state of mind? Yes, you are. You separating the thoughts of what you're supposed to do for self, and now it's for what's being taught to you for you to function. It's crazy, but that's what they did. And that's what happened, and that's what you're going by. So when you see that, you have to understand that that process does not allow you to think for yourself. Nope. It does not allow you to think for yourself. Because when you think about when you went to school, right, the method of them teaching you went all the way down to basically, I think a Head Start. They teach you how to go to the bathroom. They teach you how to go to the bathroom by yourself. So in other words, they take you to the bathroom and they show you how to use the bathroom on your own. No, let's not get technical here. No, we're not going through that. You know what I'm saying? When they take you to the bathroom, Head Start, there are people that dealt with kids that, they showed them, saying how to function on using a facility bathroom. To do what they have to do, which also came from the first training process, which is your parents too, okay? Don't even go there. But the seriousness is that even with that, we didn't even, we don't even have the opportunity to think for ourselves on how to use a simple thing called the bathroom, a toilet, a water fountain, a washing sink. No, we were taught that too. So, upon you hearing me say that to you, just think of how Head Start or kindergarten was like for you. You know what I'm saying? You basically was placed in a room, and you followed the instructions of the instructor that was telling you how you were supposed to function for that moment, or that period of time when you was in school. And that was an everyday thing. And it went from when September to June, right? It had a day-to-day work plan where you stayed consistent when you participated, when you showed up, when you was there. So by that being said, they took your mind to a different place where you was being instructed to do things that was opposite of what you was doing with yourself. Yeah. So remember, what I'm saying to you is that your mind was built up, right? Your thoughts was built up to be in a functioning state of how you are right now. And I want you to ask yourself, right? In that process of the growing that you had or doing now, right? Ask yourself something. When did you ever have the opportunity or the moment where you thought for yourself? When? Sorry, you didn't. Because the right thing to do is, as you're being taught, right? And as you're being shown, the majority of us, and I'm going to speak as in a whole, we were all trained to follow and be obedient to the lesson, to the growing process that's being displayed to us. So when you see that, you're not functioning normally. No, you're not. Because technically, when you see the majority of stuff you're doing, it's coming from teachers that's telling you this is the way you should be functioning. But in reality, it's not, because for most people, it actually tears them down, because, when you're going through those training periods of learning, it does a real toll on the mind, because they're giving you more than enough information that's taking away your free spirit on how you're supposed to think, where there's so much space that's upstairs that it keeps you in a relaxed state. No, you're not relaxed when you're going through that process. And in no shape or form are you relaxed, because it's asking you to perform, and then you have to show the results of it. Yes. What do they call it when you go to school? Homework, composition. You have to give a thesis, Anything that they required for you to do, you had to do it. You know what I'm saying? So upon you doing that, none of it was in place to show you how you can go by your own thoughts. Everything was by dialogue that you're supposed to be taught and be obedient to the teachings. So what I'm trying to say to you is that you should try to take the time out to really understand the fact that there should be a moment in your life where you can actually separate the two, and then just be in a place or a state of mind where you think from oneself. When you hear me say those words, right, in that way, no, there is no, I'm not the one teaching you. I'm not the teacher. No, because we all can do this. But the sad part about it is how I'm taking time out to explain this to you is that, yes, I'm using my time to tell you that we all are capable of doing that. And what I would think from the future videos that I'm going to give, as well as the ones that I'm doing now as we speak, I'm trying to show you that this is a way of saying, listen, why don't you just try it? It's not going to hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's not a psychological thing where, you're crazy. No, you're not crazy. It's just that you need to know that your functioning is not normal. It's not normal. Because when you have a moment where you end up thinking about something and it's away from what you're doing, that's actually your mind talking to you. And a lot of us end up pushing away what's being said to us through thought, that we end up shaking ourselves and go, what the hell was that? Yeah, whatever. And then we go back to our daily routines and not realize those thoughts are warning signs. Those thoughts are coming to us to give us an opportunity to think away from what we were taught. I mean, it's it sounds kind of crazy how I'm explaining this to you, but you have to understand something. I'm gonna say a word to you, right? And when I say this word, or say the wording of what I'm about to tell you, right? Just think about it for a minute. Free thinker. I'm gonna say the word again. Free thinker. Now, when you hear that, there's no books, there's no dialogue, there's no information coming from someone. A free thinker is a person who thinks for self. Right. And a free thinker, oh my God. When a free thinker starts to realize how they really supposed to function, forget about it. It's endless. It is endless. You don't even need to say to yourself, I have a goal. And that's another thing that they taught us too. How we all write down our goals in life. Oh man, that's bad. They tell us how to take the time out to put on a piece of paper or try to have an achievement to yourself where you write down the things you want to do in your lifetime. We're not supposed to go by that neither.
Behind the scenes.
No. Because when you're thinking from yourself, it's freely coming to you and it's coming to you simultaneously. It just keeps coming and keeps coming. And that's how you keep going and you keep going forth and keep moving. Yes. But the way they taught us, there's a breaking point when you get taught or when they're teaching you and, you have to go back to it on a day-to-day basis. We all know that when we went to school, right? We went to school from Monday to Friday, right? They even tried to take a Saturday from us called Catch Me Up, and they were teaching us from like early part of the morning to the later part of the afternoon. Think about it. That's 7 to 8 hours of just draining you, of not having to think for oneself, but to listen to and give you constant dialogue. Oh my God. It's so much. And then look where it takes you. Like, when you do all of that stuff, right? And you moving up in life and you're going through the different stages of that training period. Look where it takes you. The funny thing is that when you come from these institutions, right? They tell us that we got to work. Or we self-made, as they say. But you're still working. And then when you do that, you go into another institution. Oh, my God. And that one has the same formula. Being in one place every day. It's crazy. Think about, I don't mean to laugh, at what I'm saying and say, I got this too. You know what I'm saying? I've done the same thing and still is in certain ways as you are. But the fact that you can actually sit back and think of the things you're doing is actually opening up your mind about the fact you've been a prisoner to life. Like you're a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not allowed to actually go out and just do whatever you want when it comes to mind. No, you're not allowed to do it because you're going from one institution to the next. So by saying that, can you please ask yourself, at what point in time had you had the opportunity to think for yourself? When you going through all these institutions and these form of places that's supposed to teach you? You don't. You know what I'm saying? So I turned around and said to you in the last video, take the time out, find a place, any place, and just relax your mind and don't think or do anything or just stay, don't fall asleep, but just empty your mind for one moment and just relax and stay in that state and see where it takes you. That's all I ask you to do. And the reason why I ask you to do is because the funniest thing, everything that you're doing is going to be actually placed in front of you. Because the reason why it's going to be placed in front of you, because you was taught to do those things. So when you go to empty your mind, that whole situation is dying to get back in your head so you can keep functioning the way they taught you, which means you're never given an opportunity to do for self. You think you are. What you think when you go to the store and buy something to eat, or pay for a residency, or buy a car, or pay for an airplane ticket to travel, that you're actually functioning on your own. No, you're not. You're not functioning on your own. You're doing things that coincide with what you were taught. All of that stuff you was taught. You're not being freely about any of the things you're doing because the majority of it was taught to you. Okay? But when you take the time out to really allow your mind to speak to you, you're going to find out what I'm talking about. And the craziest thing is that when this takes place, whenever you decide to have that moment, because it takes time, you're going to realize that that's what you was taken away from. And, to be a free thinker, wow, you're going to find out the more you start to freely think of self, right? Or think coming from yourself, you're going to be so relaxed. I'm telling you, I guarantee it. I put my money on it. A lot of things that you're doing is not going to be really important to you anymore, because you're going to see that how you was taught to make that important to you. You was taught to make that, it's called the method of life. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. The crazy thing is, I'm going to throw something out there at you, and you're probably going to be, you're going to bug out when I say it. But what if I tell you that we are natural travelers that don't stay in one place? That's our real existence. We are natural travelers. And see, if you look at the institutions that we're partaking in and we're doing and we came from, all of those institutions kept us in one place, which means that we never coexist further. We always stay close and near. So think about that. Are those institutions that we're partaking in really helping us or caring about us? Think about it. Is it really? Because when you see that, and you see in these same places that you're a part of on a day-to-day basis for years, are you really living? Because the crazy part about it is that for us as a people, we haven't even been all around this earth. You know what I'm saying? We've been participating in certain places that is not even the corner part of this world, that we don't even know what the other side is, because we never really traveled to that point, because we've been given a GPS or a lesson plan on how we're supposed to conduct ourselves in our life. And if you look at it, when you extend your arm out from your shoulder, extending your arm out to your hand, right, you're going to see that there's a beginning, which is your shoulder, and your hand is the ending. And where the ending is that we don't go no further than the hand. We don't go no further than what our hand is, because we're constantly doing the same things every day. And trust me, I'm telling you, I know for sure, when you get up every morning and you doing the same routine, you looking in that mirror brushing your teeth. Yeah, I hope you are brushing your teeth. You look in that mirror brushing your teeth, go, oh boy, here we go again. Yeah, you doing the same thing every day. Now, I go back to the original statement, what I said to you in the beginning of this video. Are you actually thinking for oneself? You know the answer to that. I don't even have to say it. But what I'm trying to say to you is that there should be a moment in your life that you create that opportunity. Okay? It's not, you don't need to see a psychiatrist, or you don't need to see a counselor. No, there's nothing wrong with you. You have to understand, part of how people lose track or seem to be in a bad stage is because their the teachings that they came from or they're doing to this day is causing an effect on their mind. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's imprisoning them from their realities. Yeah, it's prison. You know what I'm saying? Prison, don't get it twisted. People do a crazy act and it's against the law, and then they go to court and they go to jail. Yeah, they tell you or they show you that those things are gonna occur when you don't have yourself in a place where you stay obedient and follow the rules. But technically, you're still in prison when you're doing your job or you going to school. You going in and out of an institution on a day-to-day basis, and it's a time frame of when you go in there, and you don't get to come out until it's over. It's almost the same thing. So I'm gonna stop at this point, right? And I want you to take a moment of what I just told you, because a free thinker is not in that place. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not telling you to drop everything you're doing and just leave and abandon everything. No, what I'm saying to you, start from the beginning. Just make this a start for yourself to take the time out to relax for one moment and empty your mind of the things that you're doing and see if that thought process is taking place, and you start to realize, holy cow, that never came to my mind. You're gonna realize when you do that yes, your body, your thoughts and your thinking power is still functioning. They can't, the way they have us, they want to really destroy that, because they put us at a state that we're following everything that they're doing. We're following things. We're paying attention to things that's being said to us, and we actually follow it. And that's not the way we're supposed to function. So I want you, I'm going to end this video here, but a free thinker, right? Free thinker. And I want you just to take that moment, you know what I'm saying, where you get to relax at one point. You could do it. You get to relax, right? And you go to a place, you know what I'm saying? You sit down, whether it's in your living room, it's at your job, or it's at a place where you're in your car or wherever. When you're at home, just think of it like this. They have these chambers in our residency. Even if you have a studio, that they named each room to show you what you're supposed to do in each room. Okay, let me give you understanding. When you go into the kitchen, what you do in the kitchen? Wash dishes, prepare food, cook. Anything that has to do with feeding your body. Right now, when you go to the living room, what the living room is for? A living room is like a gathering or a place where it's an open space where you can function and do anything you want freely, because it's in a relaxing state where you have couches and you have probably music or a TV y'all could watch for entertainment, whatever the case is. And then what happens in the bedroom? The bedroom, your sleeping quarters, a place where you can have privacy when it comes to having sex or whatever the case is, okay? Or another space in your place of residency where it's privatized when you close the door, And then you got the bathroom where you do all your bathroom things, washing yourself, using the toilet, brushing your teeth, cleaning like things, okay? So when you see stuff like that, right, you got to ask yourself, right, look at something simple like that. It was all taught to us, you know what I'm saying? And, how it was taught to us, does any of those things I just said show any freedom to that? Where you basically are roaming around anywhere you want to go and just basically do anything you want? It's another teaching tool that they taught us. So, and upon us being taught it, we're following it, but we're not actually going past our teachings and going to a place where it's totally beyond, beyond the existence of what we were taught from the beginning. No, it's keeping us bounded. It's keeping us in one place. So by me saying that, and giving you that small idea, you gotta understand, it's serious. It's serious because we as a people are not understanding the fact that we need to have our own method in life to really get an understanding about who we are by taking the time out to empty our minds on what we normally do and become free thinkers to what our thoughts is really telling us. Okay, I'm gonna leave you on that. Okay, and I hope that this part of the video gave you an understanding of what I was doing from the introduction on the last video. So, once again, the bean is talking, and I'm here, and we're gonna get through this together. Take it easy, people. Have a nice one.